Hey, uh, my name is Jeremy. I'm a newcomer to YouTube. This is the first video I've decided to post. And, there are a few things, wrestling-wise, which I felt needed to be said, which obviously you can tell that's what my subject is from the, video that I'm responding to. First off, I have to say, you know, I saw WCW a little bit back in the day. I'm an avid TNA watcher now. I watch WWE every so often, and I order pay-per-views whenever I feel like I can afford them, which is very rarely. WWE, I have no idea what the hell they are doing these days. I mean, we got Cena versus Khali. Cena, he can do better. I've seen his independent work from like UPW in California. He's got a larger moveset. He can do more than he's doing. And but he's just been underwhelming work-wise, promo-wise. Hasn't had a good promo since he stopped doing battle raps. And then they bring in this big, giant tree of a man named Great Khali. I don't see what's so great about him. I mean, obvious, like I said, he's as big as a tree, and he's about as mobile as one too. And yet, they're trying to put him over as a credible title contender. Yeah, a credible title contender whose chops don't even come close to looking like they hit. Oh, he's so devastating. He knocks people over with air. And then Edge, who I think is actually a pretty good worker, they put him over on SmackDown, because thank God SmackDown needs the help. And yet on his last match on Raw, they decide to make him lose to Shawn Michaels, who ends up losing to Randy Orton at Judgment Day and has to go out with a long overdue injury timeout. What the heck? How can you make a champion on one brand job to someone on the other brand? He's supposed to be a main eventer on SmackDown, and they made him look like crap. You know, they could have at least had the mediocre Khali come in and interrupt the match, or Orton interrupt the match, set up that match a little bit better for Judgment Day. But the way they did it made absolutely no sense and really didn't make Edge look good at all. Of course, SmackDown's in dire straits too. I mean, when they're putting Mark Henry back into the title hunt, they're pretty desperate. I mean, Kennedy, who has been pretty darn good, I think, is out with injury. Chris Benoit has been stuck in the United States title hunt, and now that he's finally lost the title, maybe it's time to bring him back up. Undertaker's out with injury. Batista's just barely coming back from injury. Rey Mysterio's still nowhere to be found, and let me take a little aside here. I will admit, I am a huge Rey Mysterio mark. He did not get his title reign because of Eddie Guerrero. If anything, Eddie Guerrero only accelerated the process, because long before Rey Mysterio won the World Championship, Vince was really, really hot on him. He was set up to become what I call a transcendent cruiserweight, that being a cruiserweight who actually ascended beyond the division. And there are other guys who can possibly do that, like Gregory Helms, once he comes back from his neck surgery. I even think maybe Paul London could be a credible U.S. title contender. Uh, you know, there are guys in the cruiserweight division that could possibly be the next Rey Mysterio, and it's going to hurt them if the first one to finally break the cruiserweight ceiling, Rey Mysterio, gets stigmatized on his title reign that he only got it because he was friends with someone who died not long before. I mean, that's completely erroneous. Maybe Eddie's death accelerated the process by a couple of years. Maybe. But Rey was going to get the main event title eventually. He's a good worker. He's been around for the better part of 2 decades. He's been extremely hardworking, both in ECW, WCW, and in WWE. He was going to get it sooner or later. And he might get it again once he comes back from his injury. I'm sorry, I went off on that side. I lost track of where I was. Yeah, the SmackDown main event. Matt Hardy. John Bradshaw Layfield keeps saying that Matt Hardy could possibly make a good, World Heavyweight Champion someday. I agree, but WWE Creative has got to stop giving this guy the shaft. Matt Hardy is a good, solid worker. He's over with the fans. He has been. And yet, ever since he came back from WWE, it's been one stick up the ass after another. They just keep shafting him and shafting him and shafting him. They put him in a feud with Gregory Helms, which actually would have been a pretty good idea if it weren't for the fact that at the time, Gregory Helms was Cruiserweight Champion. But Matt Hardy's finally getting on the right track. Maybe we'll see him with the title reign before the year is out. I don't know. I hope so. The tag divisions, well, they're actually doing good stuff. That in WWE, so I'll leave that alone. I will say one thing though. I would love to see London and Kendrick get the belts back because normally in WWE, like for the last 5 champions or something on Raw and SmackDown, the losers have broken up not long after they lost the titles. I don't want to see that happen to London and Kendrick. I'm a huge fan of Paul London, very big fan of Brian Kendrick, and I want to see them stick together. Maybe have one of them go for the cruiser title on the side, have a double champion thing going on, but other than that, keep London and Kendrick together. They've got something good going there. They need the tag teams. Leave them alone.